Hello, everybody. This is Criminal Justice Cafe, and I'm Jacqueline Purcell. We are coming back to you with a new series this year as the number 14 podcast on criminal justice podcast, Podcorn. So I'm really happy about that. And we have an amazing special guest today who I can't even describe because we have this friendship that has derived from I don't know where, and he's the coolest guy, and I just love him to death. And his name is AB Butler. AB, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because I can't even start.
Listen, I like when the ladies say that, you know what I mean? They can't describe me. Well, my name is A.B. Butler. I'm from the town they call Money Earning Mount Vernon for Mount Vernon. I was born in the Bronx, but grew up in Mount Vernon. So, that's the beginning of A.B. Butler.
AB Butler. I tell you, I follow all your social media and you amaze me every time I log on. I'm like, is that AB in that picture?
Yeah, listen, my saying is you never know where I'm at and you never know who I know.
Yeah, that is true because to me, you're the king of entertainment. So
Yes,
tell
I
us a
am.
little bit about your entertainment company because I love seeing it.
Well, my entertainment company is called Back in the Game Entertainment. I came up with the name when you locked up doing a lot of times and you just paying yourself to come home and you just say, what I'm gonna call my company when I get out, what's the name or whatever I came up with, Madman Entertainment. But I wasn't mad. And because I liked growing up as a kid, one of my favorite comic book was Madman.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that about you. That's funny.
yeah. So I like that. And then I said Madman, Ace, I just kept coming up with names. As soon as I walked out of prison, I said, you know what I'm gonna call myself, my company, Back in the Game Entertainment. And people say, why did you call your company Back in the Game Entertainment? Because I left the game and came back.
Yeah. Isn't that so? Because when I founded Evolution Reentry Services, it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had Evolution title, and
Mm-hmm.
then it came full circle to Evolution Reentry, and it's just an evolving world, like back in the game. I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Well, take me. I want to know about the little young AB.
Woo!
You
They
were a
call it
kid.
as a kid. Listen,
Yeah.
I had the best two parents. My father, rest in peace, and my little mother. You know what I mean? And it was eight of us. My little mother had eight kids. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Eight kids. And, you know, out of eight kids, I always add myself as the middle child. Either way you go up, or either way you come
Yeah,
down.
4 and 4, right? You're in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just I was hard headed. I was hard headed, and growing up in a household with both of my parents and brothers and sisters, it wasn't no excuse for me being bad because I had three brothers going to military, and my other little brother used to work in the music industry when he got older, when I got locked up. Um, so it wasn't no excuse, but I guess I started running and hustling when I was in sixth grade. You
Wow.
know, I
Sixth grade. So
yeah,
what are you like 13 in sixth grade, right?
no, I was no
God, I can't
sixth.
even remember. That's younger.
I
That's like,
can't. Yeah,
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 that's
nah,
even
nah.
younger.
I was
Oh
no, I
God, AB,
was.
we're dating ourselves, not knowing
Yeah,
how
yeah,
old you are in
yeah,
sixth
yeah.
grade.
Nah, I was like about what? Sixth grade. I was probably about 10,
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, around that time. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So I said, I started working at a gas station. And, every day before I go to school, I was a hustler because I used to pump gas. And, you get tips back in them days. $1 was a lot of money back in them days. So I used to pump gas and I used to go to school with at least about $50 in my pocket. So I go to the candy store and buy all the top candy and go to school and sell it. And then I started working there every morning before I go to school. I get up early. My father get up early. I go out. He leave. I leave. And the guy at the gas station, he didn't want to pay me.
Ah,
So, and when he didn't want to pay me, I was like, man, I'm great. So the crazy thing is, to this day, if you look at a bank robbery, how they set everything up by day by day by day, that's how I did him. So
really?
yeah, I lined it up where I was working there. He let me come in, work inside, help him out. So I turned around and back in my days, cartons of cigarettes was money.
Yeah.
So he had like a big part of the gas station was cigarettes. So one day I went and got my little man and them. They call us back in the days, we call ourselves the Little Rascals.
Oh God, I remember that.
We
Cartoon.
call us we call ourselves the Little
Little
Rascals.
Rascals.
And we turned around. I called two of my guys and I said, yo, we got a lick. So every morning when my father and them fall asleep, I sneak out the house and time the police coming up, making their rounds around. Everything that you see on TV, I did. So then I felt that this was the night. So I told my guys, everybody wear all black. We had all black on. And we went in there every night. I used to go in there, go on top of the roof, cut the hole, cut the hole till it came off. Then I was
Wow.
inside cutting the roof, cutting it. So you really couldn't see it, but so every night I went and did that until I got it open. And then, and when I went inside the next day to work, I tested. I said, okay, it's open. We, we emptied, when I tell you, it was like a half of a warehouse. We cleaned them out.
Wow. So you were about how old at this time?
I was in seventh grade, so I was 11.
Wow. So
11.
think about it now. Like, how old are you
Mhm.
now, AB? You're around my age, right?
Yeah, I'll be May 7th, I'll be 60.
Okay, so I'm 57. So think
Yeah.
about back then, how intelligent you were to think about doing this every day, repetitively to get into this building and what
Never
you
got
could,
caught.
right? And never got caught, and what you could have been doing, learning and putting your brain to other use. I've talked to so many people that say that, the things that astonish me that they were so intelligent to be able
Mhm.
to do this every single day, never got caught. So then what
Yeah.
happened? You clean them out, and then what happened?
We cleaned them out. So the next morning I go, like nothing ever happened, to go to work, pump the gas and, help them outside. Next thing you know, I see the police had the whole place surrounded. So I go like a normal kid, like, what happened? He said, man, somebody broke in and robbed me and took everything. And I personally told my father, I said, Dad, this man got me working, he's not paying me. He was like, my father was like, don't worry about it. I take care of you. I was like, nah, it ain't the simple fact. Don't worry about it. It's like, I'm working. I'm helping him help
Yeah.
his business. So when I robbed him, I did not feel bad. I didn't feel
Okay.
bad because he robbed me.
I see. Yeah.
So it's like Peter pay Paul. And
Yeah.
I
Right.
was
Right.
Peter and Paul.
Peter and Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So did he know, how did this progress? How did
Yeah,
you end up?
they did
Oh,
they did investigation on it, but we did not talk because only one knew was me, my two guys.
yeah.
So
And there
we
were no
went.
cameras. There were no cameras back then.
No,
Today, there's
back
cameras
back
everywhere.
then.
Yeah.
Nah, back then it wasn't no cameras, but back then it was like we was when I say we was the little rascals, we was the little guys that people were scared of and respected.
Well, you definitely were not
So
alfalfa of the Little Rascals.
no, 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 no. So,
Definitely
so,
not. But
so
you always had that business mind, that mind of, I mean, this started out because you were working, you weren't getting paid. So,
mhm,
and so think about it, 6 years old, you had this little business going that you
yeah,
were working for someone. He's your client, he's not paying you. You break in, you get so what happens
sicko.
then? Yeah, right. So what happens then?
So after that happened, we shut him down. He got rid of, the gas station closed, and I guess later on somebody else came in. But about time I was in seventh grade. So after we did all that, had all that money, it was like we used, I had the plug for selling candy.
Yeah.
So I'm in seventh grade now. So it's the weed now. So we used to go down to 125th to Hardest Hards. That's where Dapper Dan's spot used to be back in the days. And they used to sell weed. The bags, they had the yellow bags real thick. So we used to go buy them and roll them up as joint and go to school and sell them, sell them, sell them. And then, it just, from that, it just nonstop. I
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
a hustler, and I was well known, but at the same time, my father never knew I was hustling.
He didn't.
Nah, he
Well,
didn't know.
yeah, I mean, back then parents were different too. Like my parents didn't know what stuff I was
Yeah,
doing. I mean, they didn't know.
yeah,
It's not like today.
yeah. But
And in that, oh, go ahead.
my father was well known, so I was like, some of his friends used to come and buy weed from me, and I was afraid to sell it to them. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. And they was like, we heard. They said, brother, we heard you got the weed. I was like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. And then and because I was afraid of my father. My father was big,
Oh, me too.
stocky,
Fear.
dangerous.
Yeah, me too. The
I was
kids have
like,
no fear
nah,
today. I had fear of my father. And back then, if you did something wrong that wasn't so bad, the cops wouldn't arrest you. They go to your parents.
yeah,
That was worse than getting it, in trouble with the law. You don't want anybody telling your father. God, that was such a different world, right? Such a
yeah. We definitely in a different world right now. But
world.
it just woke me up to bigger things. So I did that. So one of the guys that got what did it, we robbed the gas station together, turned around. My ex-girl mom's had a car. I've been driving since I was 12, 13. So when her moms used to go work, we used to go take the car from her. So one day we was in a town called Pelham. We driving through, the police jumped out, pull up on us. I jumped out the car and run because, I stopped the car, run. We both was dirty. So we
Yeah.
both had weed on us. So I ran, got rid of the weed, and I'm walking, and they got him in the car already. I'm walking like I'm going home from jogging.
Oh my God.
So he's like, "Excuse me, where you going at?" I said, "Nah, just jogging." And you gotta remember, back then I looked like a straight up baby.
You still do.
Thank you.
You got a baby face.
See, that's why I love you. You got my dimples lit up. You
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean?
But you do. You honestly do. So yeah,
And
I can imagine you look like a little baby. You're walking like I'm going home.
yeah, and then they put me in the car. My God, moms don't drive. So they call our parents. So my father and mother went to go pick up his mother. And why did I put that together? Because his mother got in the car with my mother and father, and the first thing she said to my father and mother, man, them boys are hard headed. You know, your son and my son is the youngest drug dealer in Mount Vernon. You should have seen my father's face after he dropped her off. He didn't say nothing till he dropped them off.
Wow.
And then he kindly turned around. And when I tell you, his hands was like so big, he turned around. He's like, so what's Miss Green talking about? You and David is big drug dealers. I said, I don't know what Miss Dottie Green talking about.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, he was like, I said, Dad, I don't know what she talking about. I don't sell no drugs. I was so afraid my
No,
father
you're
may
digging your hole
punish me.
deeper because now
Yeah,
you're lying to your father.
I had to lie to
Yeah.
him.
Mhm.
If you would have seen my father, you would have lied to him too. Yeah. Yeah. But
Wow.
everything happened then, we hustling. And then when we got to like high school, we was the first batch of kids that went to the high school because we only got one high school in Mount Vernon. So everybody, Dick Clark, Denzel,
Wow.
Heavy D, everybody went to that high school. It was only one
Yeah, I
high
saw some
school.
pictures of you and Denzel somewhere, and I'm like, is
Yeah,
that me with Denzel Washington?
yeah. Denzel's from my block.
Yeah, and you know I'm in love with him. I love, 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 love him. So I was like,
Yeah,
what's that all about? But
yeah. So
yeah, so now you're in high school. And are you still the biggest drug dealer in high school now?
now we in high school, right? So when we in high school, yes, we are getting money in high school. Me, him, and my other little guy, we getting money in high school. And then on top of that, back in high school days, they had the class school rings, the rings that they
Yeah.
sell come with this. So the guy from you might know him from Rough Riders. We all started hanging out together. This before Rough Riders, all them. We all
Really?
hanging out. We planned to rob the ring guy.
What it was Johnston's rings or Johnston's rings
Yeah,
back then, right?
yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
remember it.
So we plotted to rob them. And before we did that, I was, like I said, I hung around people my age and a little older. So, everybody family got some family members that came, moved from Mount Vernon, from Brooklyn, the Bronx, Yonkers, whatever. It just seemed that we was the traction of bringing the bad out of kids.
Yeah.
So the kid from Brooklyn robbed somebody from around my way. And it just happened. I didn't know he robbed them, but he knew my father. So I had to get everything back before they go call the cops. They told my father, if your son and them don't bring my son jewelry, his watch, and all that back, we can ready to get him locked up. My father, when I tell you, my father's like, yo, Anthony, what is you doing? So I went and got everything back. And the lady looked at my father like, man, you got a good son, and he hanging out with the wrong people. And I'm like, I'm not hanging out with the wrong people. I'm involved with it, but I'm sitting there acting like I'm innocent.
Yeah.
And, I got everything back, and then my principal, when I was in high school, when I got there, I don't know what about my principal. He bothered my sister. He was bothering my other sister. Then when I got there, he came to me with that same situation. And I made it clear to him. I said, I'm not my sister. I'm a little different. I said, I'm not going to play with you. So he thought he was joking. And I bricked him. I straight up bricked him.
Well, explain what brickdom means to our
I hit him in the face with a
yeah.
brick.
Mm-hmm. How many
I,
sisters do you have out of the 8?
I I had three sisters.
Okay.
One passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So, and when I did that, because before I did all that, they kept running down on me because my brother brought me up there when I was in seventh grade because they used to have like just say it's called Rock Creek Park. It's like everybody go out there, talk, have fun, party and stuff like that. So they chased me around the high school. And then when they decided to bring the eighth graders up there, they thought that they was chasing me again. So I ran, and then I let them catch me. What you doing up here? I said, I go to the high school now. I said, she took me to the principal office and he's like, I got my eye on you. And then one day he ran down on me. And when I tell you he ran down on me, I was dirty. I had weed on me, everything.
Oh, wow.
But I told him straight up, you can't search me. My parents not here. You cannot search me. So he went inside. He went in the other office to call my parents and ask them, can I say? So what I did was I stashed everything in my socks and shoes. And by the time he came back, he came and searched me, but he never went to my socks and my shoes, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, what you doing with all this money? I had like about 2,000
Oh,
on me.
wow.
And
In
he was
high
like, what you
school.
doing on? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, what you doing with all this money? I said, man, I'm going school shopping. You know what I mean? But he never called my parents and asked them, did they give me that kind of money? So, and, you know, he was pissed off that he didn't find what he was looking for. And he told me, I'm going to make sure you get kicked out of this high school.
Wow. So he
And
didn't take the time to try and help you. He didn't take the time to try and sit down, and he just didn't want to be
he,
bothered.
he was aggressive because I told him I'm not the one. So he
Yeah.
tried me and he found out I wasn't the one. So after I bricked him with that brick, it was like I got kicked out of school. I went, they locked me up. I think they locked me up. Then I got a year probation for that.
Okay. So did you spend time then, or you just got the year probation?
No, I spent like about what, 60 days at that time for that because,
Okay. Yeah.
and then I came home and I had my probation lady and she kept threatening me she's gonna send me back because back then they used to drive around that
Yeah.
we call the block and see is we out there. And one day I was out there talking to my guys. She pulled up on me. She's like, I'm gonna violate you. But only reason why I don't do it because I like your moms. So I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. You can violate me. I said, but if you violate me, I'm done with you. Because once you violate me, I ain't got no dealing with you no more.
Yeah.
So it's
Right. Yeah.
cool either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
So
what
you
you
didn't
want to
have
do.
fear. So you had
Nah, I
no
didn't.
fear of going back to prison.
Nah, I ain't had no fear at
Okay.
all. At all. So, I got over that. But, I stayed on the streets hustling, did the music and hustle at the same time.
Yeah. Wow. And then what was the length of time, the longest length of time you did?
The longest time I did, I had 30 years.
Crap, 30 years. How long did you do of those 30?
I did the 30.
You did 30 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And then before I caught that case, I was facing 30 years around my way in Mount Vernon. And I had a gun charge in the city. So it was like they wanted me so bad that when I caught the case in DC, the police officer wanted me, came to DC to testify against me that they wanted me and I left town. I had a case in Connecticut too, in New Haven, was it Stanford? But I was locked up in Bridgeport.
Ah, Bridgeport's yeah, that's no joke,
Yeah,
Bridgeport.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was in there, downtown Bridgeport. Yeah.
Well, the kid that I introduced you to before he went in, that's where he was in Bridgeport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. You could look out the window, you could see the city, people
Yeah.
walking by,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. So,
Hmm.
when if that principal sat you down and said, how can we change your life? How can we help you? Instead of saying, I'm going to get you out of school, would that have changed the trajectory of what happened in your life?
It would have changed probably, it would have changed, it wouldn't have changed me hustling. I'm
Okay.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
That would have never changed me because I was a kid that I hate acid.
Yeah.
I had a problem with acid. You know what I mean? I never had a problem with no, but I just always felt that my mother got 8 kids. She worked hard. My father worked hard. You know what I mean? They do so much for us. And I felt that I don't like acid. If I see something exotic I want, I feel that I need to go get it.
Yeah.
And I was working,
Yeah.
but the work was called hustling.
Yeah. And how ironic that today, probably in that same street corner, there's probably a store selling legally pot.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's legal. Now
yeah.
so many people imprisoned for selling it, and it's legal. And there's stores everywhere to just walk in and buy it.
And it's crazy how they make it so legal. It's just like the same thing back in the days with liquor.
Yeah.
They locked so many people up
Prohibition.
for so many years,
Yeah.
and the government turn around and tax
Yeah. They got to make
and
money
get,
on it.
yeah, they get away with this, and then they put you in there and say they sorry. You know how many people they legalize weed now, and they said the first people's gonna get the license, the people that have been locked up. It's always a catch-22
Yeah.
when it's something saying that we gonna change this, we gonna make it where you've been locked up for marijuana, whatever, but here come the catch-22. You're gonna have to have a felony.
Oh, yeah. But then you
So
have the felony because you're in there for
yeah,
selling marijuana. So
then huh?
it's a, I'm curious, when you came home after all that time, how
Hmm.
did you rebuild? Like, you have no identification, right? You have no driver's license, you have no birth, you can't open a bank account, you have nothing
Hmm.
because you've been locked up for so many years. How did
So
you rebuild?
all right, so this what happened. I tell people this that you ever been in a system, you got to remember the prison is no different than the streets.
Yeah.
You got to remember that's one thing. It don't matter you behind a wall. The same people that you dealing with out here, it's the same people you're dealing with in there.
Right.
It's no different. Only
Right.
thing different is you can't go home to your kids, your wife. You could get on the phone. You can watch TV. You can lay in the bed. But they want to control you.
Yeah, it's
They
pure
want to
control.
let you know they control you. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we own you right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it don't matter, it's the same thing. What's going on in the world today is like you got good officers, you got bad officers.
Yeah.
You understand? You got some that understand why you do what you do, and you got some that don't understand what you do. But now you turn around and say, having all that time, people say when you came home, how did you blend in? And you the same guy that when you went in, you came home as the same guy. Well, I said to myself was they had the shell. They never had my mind
That's right. And your heart.
and the heart.
That's
So
right.
my mind was still, I had access to every artist that you imagine. You understand? So my cousin was the biggest management company in the world, was Violator, Chris Lighty, rest in peace. So when he got on when he got on like 92, like say 92, he started working with Def Jam and he started working with the Jungle Brothers.
Okay.
So he started coming up on some money. So it wasn't a problem where I needed something. I had somebody that I could call on was Chris.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I needed something, he'd take care of it. Then I had DMX. If I
And I
needed
heard you
something,
did a big, huge concert inside the prison.
yeah. With that saying, I had the biggest concert in the Fed system, 1995. I bought Craig Mack, Biggie, and Puff.
Wow.
So when I did that, before I even did that concert, I was trying to, because I grew up with Malcolm X daughters in them.
Okay.
So when that movie Spike Lee did Malcolm X, I try
Amazing
to
movie.
get I try to get his daughter to come up to the prison, speak to the inmates on Black History Month.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let it happen. You know what I mean? So I'm cool. I was like, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
And then when I was in the system, people, and this is one thing about, I tell anybody, in prison is no different in the street. It's always jealousy.
Yeah.
It's always jealousy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't talk to too many people. I did not feel that I was good enough to be like, I ain't got to talk to. I talk to who I want to talk to. I'm my
Yeah.
own boss.
You're a quiet guy
I make,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah, I make my own decisions. I choose to do what I want to do. Nobody control me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you got the gang members, you got the AKAs, you got the Q dogs. I felt that my father, as a young age, telling me, Anthony, always be the leader, not the follower,
Yeah.
as a young age. So I was like, I took that like, okay, pops, I'm gonna be that man.
Yeah. So everybody followed you. Because it's
So
hard to maneuver prison, navigate prison without being in a particular gang or a particular group. And
yeah,
you weren't. You were just you.
I was just me, and I'm gonna say this on your prison page, this podcast. I know so many people. I'm talking about wardens, AWs, lieutenants, captains, officers that's still in contact with me to this day. My case manager. My case manager shot a movie. While he was a case manager, a counselor, let me correct that, counselor, he used to work at Danbury.
Did he really?
Yeah,
At the FCI?
his name was Conrad Glover.
Ah, Danny Glover's son.
So he came to Fort Dix and we got cool. We got cool. He was doing acting. He was doing counseling in New York Undercover.
Wow.
So he used to come. So he read my jacket one day and he was like, this dude got a lot of time, but he quiet. They watch people.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course they do. They
So
know.
when he kept watching, one day he pulled me up. He was like, yo, where you from? He said, I know Heavy D's brother. Because Heavy D's brother was locked up in Danbury.
Yeah.
So I was like, Jerry? I said, yeah, that was my guy. We ran together. You know what I mean? I said, that's why Heavy D got the respect that he got because of his brother, Jerry.
Yeah. Wow.
So we got cool. And then it was a lot of jealousy. SIS used to pull up on him like, yo, you talking to AB? What y'all talking about? What you bringing him? He said, man, I'm not bringing nothing. If you want to bring me to the office, sit down with me and ask me questions, he said, yo, he's a real one.
Yeah.
And he told him, he said, man, I respect that dude more than I respect some of the other officers. So they was trying to figure us out in other COs that rec department people that I dealt with, and they was trying to figure it out, but to this day, you can't find one officer say, "Oh, he dropped a note. He was a snitch. He was none of that.
Yeah.
None of that." I'm still in contact with them today.
Yeah. Same.
To
I found that some of these officers are wonderful people. They're
yeah,
just wonderful people doing their job. I mean, they do
that's
their
all
job.
it is, a job. They
Yeah.
doing their
I
job.
mean, think
And
about it. These individuals go into prison. They put themselves in prison every day.
yeah,
They choose to be there. So, yeah,
yeah.
there's going to be bad ones. There's definitely going to be bad ones. I mean, but I think the majority of COs that, and I just spoke to a graduating class of the DOC at Connecticut, and
Hmm.
there had to be 60, 70 COs graduating. These kids
Yeah.
are like sponges. And I said that to them. I said, just remember, you are putting yourself in prison every day, and
Hmm.
give respect. You'll get respect if you give respect.
And
And
that's 100%.
yeah, it really is. And it really shocks me though when I talk to you. You're so humble. You're just so laid back and doing all that time, not having to choose a side or a gang or it's not what I hear from so many people. It really fascinates me that you were able to just be you. That is
Be-
really cool.
because I learned as a young age to be me.
Yeah.
I can't be you. I can't be nobody else. I can't. And I used to tell people, they used to be jealous. Like when I did the show in Fort Dix, 1995, it was so many people that knew that if they knew me, they'd tell somebody in their unit, "Oh, watching BET or VH1 or MTV," they'd sit there and say, "Oh, AB know that person." And they'd sit there like, "Come on, that dude don't know nobody," you know. He
Yeah.
like, because like I said, I used to work in food service. So you got the whites, they dirty. So they like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that he don't know nobody, man. That dude dirty, whatever." So this is where they really found out who I was for real, right?
Yeah.
So one day, Warren G was on tour with Heavy D and them, right? Dr. Dre's brother. So one day he was in town and he called me. He said, "Bro, I want to come and see you." I was like, "Cool." So I said, "I need to get you on. I need to get you on this." So he said, "Nah." He said, "Nah." So I went to my counselor, like, "Yo, Warren G is here. He want to come and see me, but he's not on my list." So it was a guy, a white guy named Ben. He was the duty officer that day. Big fan of hip hop. I called him. I said, "Ben, man, I got Warren G coming in town, man. He want to come and see me, man. He just here on a tour." He said, "Nah, I got you. Tell him to come. And if they have any problem, tell them to contact the duty officer." So they never had a problem because they knew who
Wow.
he was.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
let him in. So when he got there, everybody in the visiting room trying to figure out who's this guy from the West Coast, who's he here to see? It
It
was a
was you.
guy from the he was from the what projects? The Polo Ground. Oh, that dude don't know nobody. So when I came out there and Warren's sitting there, I got Warren out. I said, "Boy, come here." He was looking over there. I walked him right over to him. I said, "Yo, Key." I said, "Kev, you say I don't know nobody, but let me introduce you to my man Warren G. Warren G, this Kev, this family right here." And by the time I got back on the compound, it was like, "Oh shit, Warren G was out there. Warren G from the West Coast and this and that." And then, like I said, I had Alamo from the Brand Nubians. I had DJ Eddie F. I had my cousin Chris Lighty come and see me.
Wow.
I even had to check one of the COs one day because Chris came to see me one day, and the guy came working my unit, said, "Oh, your drug dealer cousin outside." And I'm like, "Who you talking about?" So this when I think they had, what was it? The Acura, somehow
Yeah.
he had a Lex total, it was hooked up. So I was like, "Man, let me go in my visiting room." So it was my cousin Chris. So I go out there, whatever, whatever. So I said, Chris, send me some books or whatever. He sent me some books. So now you gotta remember, he sent me a book. They did a crazy write-up on him because he had the Tribe Called Quest. They did the Woodstock tour. Man, when I got that book, that CO was in there. I had the magazine. He was in there. He had a list. He had my name up there for some mail. I went and got my mail, but I had the book in my hand. And when I went and got the mail, I said, yo, read page 14. And after you read it, you're going to come up to my room, apologize, and bring my book back. And left. He came upstairs apologizing because I said, because a person got a nice car and I'm in here for drugs, everybody's not a dealer. When he found out who he was,
Yeah.
oh, he apologized.
He did.
Oh, yeah, he apologized. Yeah. I was gangster about that. You know what I mean? I just,
Yeah.
because me personally, you couldn't scare me by saying, I'm going to ship you around the world. And I always tell them, you can ship me wherever you want.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
care
get a
about diesel
visit.
therapy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a visit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a visit no matter where you send me at.
Yeah.
And they was like, what? Yeah, you heard what I said. So when I used to call my cousin Chris, he's like, where you at? I said, I'm on tour right now.
Oh God. So,
Cause
so did
I,
did they send you? Did you do diesel therapy? Were you
oh
all over
yeah,
the place?
I went to, like, basically when my time was coming down where they could put you in a camp.
Yeah.
So I was in where was I at? I was in Edgefield. That's in South Carolina.
Yep.
And when I was in Edgefield, they opened a lot of new prisons, but they needed bodies. So
Oh yeah, it's money.
they sent me to Maxwell Air Force Base.
From
Got
the
there.
camp?
No, I was behind the wall, but
Okay.
they sent me to that camp.
Okay.
So when they sent me there, you know when you go through the process of A&O.
Yeah.
So it was a black AW there. He came in there because I guess he assumed that everybody self-surrendered, never been in prison. So he was talking fly. He wanted to be one of the fly AWs. So somebody asked him, if I call my lawyer's office and his assistant transfer the phone to his phone, he said, you can't do that. That's a three-way call.
Oh yeah.
So me being who I am, being in the system, I raised my hand. He's like, yeah, how can I help you? I said, first of all, you wrong. Why did I say that? He was like, what you mean I'm wrong? I said, it's not a three-way call. Now he was like, I said, let me tell you, let me break something down to you since you the AW. I said, somebody called control and transfer the phone to your secretary, and then she forwarded the call from control to you. That's not a three-way call.
Yeah, no,
So
it's not.
if she in the same office and they got the phone to connect them to his desk, it's not a three-way call. When I tell you he got so pissed off, I had a job it's like 30 minutes out the base where we was on. Where he was waiting out there for me when I was coming for lunchtime. He was like, oh, phone man, how you like your job? I said, what you talking about? It's a job, you know what I mean? He said, oh, okay. I'm going to change your job tomorrow. Check the call out sheet. I said, change my job for what? I could do that. So I said, what you changing my job to? Oh, I'm going to put you in the paint detail. I told him straight up in his face. You put me in the paint detail, I'm going to fuck everything up. So don't do that. He did it anyway. Now, you got to remember this. My man was in there. He trained a lot of SIS lieutenant. He
Okay,
was a
so
big,
for our listeners, first tell them what the paid detail is.
tell him.
So you're getting paid to do the job at what?
Mm-hmm.
What? 40 cents an hour.
Pennies. penny. No, it
40
was
cents.
pennies. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
back then.
pennies.
That's true. Back then.
Yeah,
And
pennies.
and let's tell them what SIS is. SIS is a form of like the FBI in the
Yeah,
outside.
yeah. Okay, the SIS is basically is like they like the investigator, they investigate the lieutenants, the captains, the wardens. They monetize
Yeah.
every phone call you make in the system. It don't matter what jail you go, it's a SIS.
Yeah.
So you might not see them till they come in to get you, investigate you. It's just like the DEA coming to pick you up.
Yeah. And most of the time, if SIS comes in, someone thinks you're snitching on someone else.
Yeah, yeah. So they got you on something, or they
Yeah.
assume they got you.
Yeah.
But my man trained all of them. So every joint I went to, he called them and said, "Little bro coming. He don't bother nobody. He whatever." So they stuck me in the lieutenant. They stuck me in the lieutenant's office to paint something. I fucked it up. Excuse my language. I messed
Yeah,
it
that's
up.
fine. But you told them that was going to happen.
I told him that.
Okay.
So the lieutenant came to me and said, "Bro, just do the job, cause he on your back. Man. He don't want you here." I was like, "Fuck it, I don't want to be here, man. He can ship me back to Jersey or whatever."
So how
So,
many prisons, AB, were you in 30 years?
I was in first my case when I first got locked up. I was in D.C. jail.
Okay.
Then from D.C. jail, I went to Lorton, Virginia. That was like you Google Lorton. That's like being in Rikers Island.
Yeah.
The work is
It's
like being
hardcore.
in the worst. If you ain't a soldier, they don't care if you're a soldier or whatever.
Yeah.
DC go hard. You don't if you not built for that,
Yeah.
don't never get caught. But I went to Lorton, Virginia, and from Lorton they picked me up. Then I went to Malin, Michigan. I was locked up with Chico LaBarge.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I was in McKean, Pennsylvania.
Michigan to Pennsylvania. Yeah, there's common sense in that one.
Then I was in King. Hold up, King. Then I went to Petersburg.
That's 6. Okay.
Then I went to Fort Dix.
Wow.
Then I went to Butler, North Carolina. Then I went to I messed up. I went to El Reno. I've been to El Reno.
Now, El Reno, is that a camp? El Reno is a camp, no?
No.
Okay.
This is where they had
All mass.
This is where they had Pappy Mason.
Okay.
They had John Gotti. They
Yeah.
had this is where I've been in Long Park
Yeah.
in LA.
So now that's 8 prisons so far.
Then I went to Atlanta Penitentiary. I was in Lewisburg. I was in I went to Edgefield. Then I went to Maxwell Air Force Base. Went to Yazoo, Mississippi.
13.
I went to Butner, North Carolina.
That's 14.
Then I went to Seymour Johnson. And that's where I got leased from, Seymour Johnson.
15 prisons. So
I was on tour.
every year, every other year they were switching you. Now you have to
not every year. I was, I didn't. Me personally, I tell people this, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's good.
I like to break my time up because when you go to different prison, you got all that time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in one spot because your mind just be like the same shit over and over and over. It's the same shit no matter where you
Groundhog
go.
Day, over
but
and over.
At the end of the day, it break up the process because you get out, you go on the air, the plane, handcuffed, freezing. Then you're on the tour bus, and you just get fresh air. You know what I mean? Then you meet somebody different. That was my thing. It was I'm a people person. I'm a connector.
Yeah,
but inside of prison, I felt back because you didn't know who to trust.
Yeah, and then do you go through A&E and that's admissions into orientation every time in every
every prison you go to, you're gonna go through the process of A&O. A&O is considered
Wow. Yeah.
it's the warden, the AW, it's the lieutenant, it's the counselor, it's the case manager,
Medical.
it's medical, it's food department, it's rec department. Every department in that jail, you're gonna sit down and they're gonna tell you what's their position.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, their position is to fuck you over if they can.
Yeah. And then you have to go through A&O fully before you even you get a job. So
Yeah,
you're going through all that. By the time you go through all that, you're ready to move again.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But you know, me personally, I took prison as, you know, it's nothing you could do. If you this go out to anybody, right? If you get into anything where you know it's not legit, just be aware that this come with the game. You got to understand it's nothing personal, it's business.
Yeah.
So when they snatch you, it's nothing personal, it's business. So when you get in a situation like that, understand that came with the game.
You know,
It's
I
just
love that you're saying that because, as you know, I do a lot of counseling of women who are going into the
mm-hmm,
system. And
mm-hmm.
so often I hear is they're doing this to me. And I
No,
say,
no, no.
no, you did this to you. You cannot blame people who are, or so many people get so angry at judges. They're doing their job.
Yeah,
And maybe it is a broken system. We all know that. But the fact that you did this to get yourself here is your doing,
yeah,
not the system's doing. Now, everything else that you go through, the system itself is broken and you're going to go through a lot of things, but getting there initially, I love that you say that.
yeah. The system is broke because at the end of the day, there's no justice. It don't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. Money.
It's like it's all about an investment. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, me personally, since I did my whole bit, I never worked at Unicor. You
Not
couldn't pay
once.
me. You couldn't pay me to work at Unicor. You understand what I'm saying? It's just that
Now, why is that? Because so many people want to go to work at Unicor. Now, Unicor is
because
basically, just so for the people who are listening, Unicor is you're manufacturing items for organizations or companies that are money-making companies to sell. So they're paying people a slave wage of 40 cents, even less than that, 13 cents an hour to do a job that is minimum wage on the outside, but they're
mhm,
doing it for nothing just so that they can make money. And that's what
yeah,
Unicor is.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that impressive because most people I talk to from that have done a long bid have worked Unicor.
yeah. Not me. I said that when I got inside and it's like, yo, Unicor, you can make a lot of money there. Nah, I'm good. I got my cousin. He sent me money. So, and it's another thing, people. While you out here doing good and well and making all this money, the key thing is don't shit on nobody. Cause when shit go wrong, the same people you shit on, the same ones you're going to be calling, asking, yo, can you send me this? I'm doing bad. But it's always it. People don't realize it.
All
Always
connected.
go around, and that's why. Let me go into the world of prison where it's always people feel that why be homosexuals and this and that because of people burn so many bridges on the street, they don't have nobody. So when they find somebody weak that don't have nobody, because the gay guys in there, they get all the groceries, they get all everything you need. So that's
Yeah.
why you find so many people that is out here, was in there, was undercover because of the
Yeah.
same reason,
Two
burning
different worlds.
bridges.
Yeah, there's two different worlds.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think today and like way back then, humanity, loyalty was so different than today.
yeah.
There is no loyalty.
Nah,
You
it's
really
not.
don't know who you can trust. You
Nah.
talk to people and the next day it's like, wow, there's just no loyalty at all.
Mm-mm.
Such a different world. But take us back to the day you got sentenced to 30 years. Standing
Mm-hmm.
there, listening to a judge say your sentence. How did you know you were looking at that time?
You know what it is? They don't tell you 30 years. They give you months. They break it down in
Yeah,
months. So
exactly.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you sit back and say, yeah, that's not, I could do that till you get back in those cells. Be like, oh shit, this is what?
Yeah.
300 and some. But at the end of the day, I like me personally, I just felt that when the judge gave me my number, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna be young. You can't break me.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because at the end of the day, I was built for this. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because this what I've been built for since I was out here as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and then on top of that, you sit back and say, a lot of people say, damn, B, you did all that time, right? But nobody never say, take time out and say, why me? Why not you? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes everything happened for a reason. I don't know why God punished me because sometimes I tell people, be careful when you do wrong and pray and say what you ain't gonna do, then you do
Yeah.
it. That, you know what I mean? Shit come back on to
Oh yeah.
haunt you.
He always has a
So
plan, right? God
yeah,
has a plan
so
for us.
yeah. So you gotta always remember it's a plan. It ain't just because I could have said, yeah, I was outside. When I was in DC, I was in anybody from DC, when I tell them I'm from New York and where I used to be in DC, Southeast, Good Hope Road,
Yeah.
they's like, yo, B, I don't know how you make it out there because be honest with you, every day I was out there, I walk over a body,
Well, let me
you
ask you
know?
something. Now, we both have
Mm-hmm.
something in common, our mothers, right? You met my
Mm-hmm.
mom.
Yes, that's my baby. Hey, mom.
She's so cute.
Yes, she
85.
is.
But
Yeah, my mom's 89.
I know. And I know how much you love her. Was she in the courtroom the day you got sentenced?
You know what? I'm a bust you. I'm gonna make you laugh on this, right? My mom's never knew how much time I had.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you how my mom's found out. One day I got transferred, right?
Yeah.
And back in the days, we used to get packages. So people could send us new sneakers, everything. We
Yeah,
used to
it's
get
different
sent
today.
in.
Yeah.
So one day it came to a point where they stopped it. So when they stopped it, they was like, they ain't not gonna let you get them in there. They not gonna let you come here with that. They not. So I had so much stuff. I made a mistake and sent some. I sent PSI and I sent the paperwork of my case, and
So
I
you
sent
had
that
your
out.
PSI, and for everyone listening,
Oh
that's a
yeah,
pre-sentence investigation
yeah.
report.
I had everything. Yeah. So I sent that out, and I was like, Mom, and I said, man, Mom, I need a number in my box. I sent it out by mistake. And she was like, all right, I'm gonna open it. Then when she said, I'll call you back later. But I was already in 15 years already.
Wow. 50.
So when she opened it, she was like, babe, I found the number, but babe, what is this paper saying? 30 to life. What is that about? You know what I mean? I was like, I
How
said
did
I'll
you
be
feel?
home.
Like now you're telling now mothers and sons, AB,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no,
you
no.
now got
But
to explain to your mother, yeah, I'm gonna be
yeah,
here a while. Yeah.
no, 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 no. I laugh and just say, yeah, mom. That's what I said. And my mom's, and believe me, my mom's is amazing. Strong little lady. Now, if you see my mom, you be like,
Yeah.
wow.
I saw her birthday
And,
party where Danny Glover
yeah,
was singing happy birthday to her.
yeah, I had to get her on that. That's that. She was like, I was like, Ma, I'll be home soon. Don't pay that paper, don't mind. You know what I mean? And she just left it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, long as
Yeah.
she
Because
know,
she couldn't control it either.
nah, there's nothing you could do. It was
Yeah.
already done. Damage is done.
Yeah.
So and it's just that I had a strong mother. I had an understanding. She understand what it is. And like I said, me with my moms, I don't hide nothing from a relationship, anything. I just be always straight up with her. You know what I mean? Because I tell anybody that when they see this, it don't matter how you feel about your mother. Always respect her because at the end of the day, when you don't have nobody and none of your friends is around, your mother's gonna always be there. And I don't be understanding these cats, these young dudes out here don't have respect for their mother or their father. You know what I mean? I understand dad, whatever, because you're gonna feel away because you a man, he's a
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
But your mother, these dudes out here disrespecting their mother, man, listen, change that. Open your eyes because when something go left,
yeah.
you're gonna run back to your mom's. And she the only one gonna always be there no matter what you say.
Oh yeah, like my three kids. I mean, I talk about my son a lot, and there's
Hmm.
something between a mother and my daughters always say, "Oh my God, he's your favorite." And I always say to them, "Nah, it's just there's something about a mother and their son."
Yeah.
And no matter where he is, no matter when, if he needs something, I mean, we have a
Hmm.
close relationship, but he knows he picks up
Yeah.
that phone and no matter what he needs, that's it.
Yeah.
And my daughters
Yeah.
too. I mean, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, my daughters are my lifeline too, but
Hmm.
um, my son is my firstborn. He's my son, and he lives in New York City, like and it's
I got to
fun.
meet him. I got to meet
I
him.
know,
I
I
definitely got to
know,
meet him.
I know. You
Yeah.
definitely do. He's really just he's doing the grind with music. You know how hard that is. He's a
Yeah.
violinist. So
Yeah.
that's even harder. But there is. And when you talk about your mother, I see it in your face. Everything changes.
Yeah, that's my
You now
baby.
become the little boy. Yeah,
Yeah,
now you're
yeah,
that little
yeah, yeah,
AB
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
12 talking about his mother with this big smile. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's just
And then you know what's so crazy when I have my son and I see the way he like when he go to first grade, second grade, third grade, like first, second grade, third grade, I was a problem. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid.
yeah.
My third grade teacher caught me looking up under her dress one day. I'm still in love with my music teacher back in the days. Her name was Miss Reed. She had the sexiest hairy legs. I was in love with her. I listen, I tell people I remember the first movie we went when I was in elementary school was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, I remember Chitty Chitty Bang. Was that a great movie when we were kids,
It
right?
was yeah, that's and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah. I
Those was my
still watch that
cartoon.
every once
I
in a
sit
while.
every time it come on, I sit there and feel like I'm in elementary school,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like things like that. I said, but when I look at my son and say, I tell him, I said, when he turned 12, I said, when he was 11, I used to say, wow, B, when I was your age, I was dangerous.
Yeah.
I was a threat, and it's like, I said,
So
man,
what
what?
changed? What changed in the I was a threat, I was a danger to the AB today? Was it prison? Was it just age? Did you age out? Yeah, because
Nah,
you're just a cool, laid back guy.
no, I'm still cool, laid
Yeah, I
back,
can't
but
imagine you being a danger.
nah, but if it come out, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
that, I feel that I got a son now, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So why go backwards? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Sometimes you people tries you.
yeah. Kids change you. They do.
Yeah,
Kids change you.
So it wasn't prison because like I said, it was prison the first time I went, I would have changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
that I just it's just, like mom said, you ran with the wrong people. Well, I guess I was the wrong person.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
insightful though. Yeah, I love your authenticity because there's nothing about you that is fake. It's you see
Nah.
it the way it
Mm-mm.
is. You know what? I'm curious. Take us to the day you were released from prison.
Yo, you want to laugh at this? Somebody picked me up from prison. I was supposed to take the bus, but
Yeah, they give you the
if you
bus pass and
they
yeah,
give you the bus pass, whatever. And then you gotta remember this. They was tired. So I drove from Virginia, no, from DC all the way to Mount Vernon with no license.
When you got home?
When I got out
When you
of
got out
prison
that day. Okay.
that day, and my cousin Chris wanted me to stop by his house in Jersey, and I was like, nah, I got to be in the halfway house at a certain time because I beat the bus, so I had time. He took me shopping. I had time to move around for a little moment and then go to the halfway house. So that was, I said, I got to be the craziest person because I was still saying I didn't care about prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just got out driving on the
With no
highway with no
license.
license. That's strictly 2 violations.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, when I was on probation, probation, parole, whatever, I
Yeah.
was on special parole. I'm driving my cousin Bentley. Every car he had, I drove with no license.
Wow.
Never got pulled over,
I never
but
thought twice.
I was driving with no license. And a friend of mine came from Jersey, never drove in New York, so they was panicking. So I was like, "Nah, I'll drive." But to show you how God works in mysterious ways, I grew up with Pete Rock and CL Smooth, right? One day Pete came to violate to come and get me, and he went and got his car cleaned. It was an officer out there, a big fan of his. And he was like, "Oh my God, that's Pete Rock." I said, "You want to meet him?" He's like, yeah, I would love to. Take a picture of him. I said, "Nah, ain't no problem, man. I'll make that happen for you." And when I did that, he gave me his card. So the same area that he met Pete, that's where they pulled me over. Now you gotta remember when you get pulled over, once they run your name,
Yeah, they
your
know immediately.
probation, your probation gonna come.
And you
I
have to
didn't have,
report any interaction with police to probation or it's a violation.
and I never did none of that. So I gave the guy card, and he's like, "Don't drive, let the lady drive, and this and that." Boom, no problem. Then when I was on probation, they had a big fight in Vegas. I wanted to go because I was working with my cousin.
Yeah.
I called a couple of people like, "Yo, did you let your probation know you went to Vegas?" Like, "Yeah, man."
Because you have to do
But this,
travel. To travel, you have to.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, "What happened?" He said, "Before you go to Vegas, when you get to Vegas, when you land, you got to go by the police station. So whatever, we'll go through all that process." And then he said, "Yeah." Then one day, 5 police ran up in my room and this and that, right? So I was like, "Word." I ain't do none of that. I went to Vegas. Big fight now.
Not
I'm
even
a,
thinking, not even caring that
not even
it was a
caring, not
violation.
anything. It's a violation. I already know it's a violation.
Yeah.
But J Lo, who's behind me? I think Magic Johnson was like two seats in front of me. J Lo, and it was a couple other big stars behind me, and I'm trying to duck the camera. My guy called me from Mount Vernon and said, "Yo, B, where you at?"
You're on
I said, "Nah."
TV.
I'm chilling. What's up?" He said, "Man, I see this guy with a salmon pink shirt on, look just like you at the fight."
And you
I
got to
said,
wear a
"What?"
color that is going to bring notice to you on top
I
of it.
said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." He's sitting right next to Macy Gray. So I was like, "Word?" I said, "Oh my God." No, I was thinking Macy Gray was sitting in the same role, but she was like a manager, then she was sitting. So I was like, "All right, good looking, that ain't me." So I'm ducking the camera. So they was like, "Why are you ducking the camera?" I said, "My man called me and said he see me on TV. I don't want to be seen. Let's switch spots." I said, "They see you too." So when I flew back in, I had to go see the probation the next day. I said, "If they see me, I know he seen me."
Yeah.
But he never said nothing to me. And he respected me
Yeah.
because of when I first came home, I asked him, can I go see my mother? Because my mother's living down in South Carolina. And he's like, nah, you can't go. I said, I'm not going to see no girl. I'm
Yeah.
going to see my mother. So he's like, nah, you can't go right now. You just got out. I don't know you. I don't know what kind of
Oh,
guy
you have to
you
build
are.
trust.
So what happened was the following week, my mother's sister passed away and he couldn't stop it. I went down there, got on the train, he was like, cool. So from
Again,
there,
this
he was
is your
like,
mother. You got to be there for your mother.
yeah. So I went, so came back. Then he was like, yeah, gave me a piss test. I had a cold. And then I took the Vicks 44. And then, like, I don't drink or smoke or get high. So he was like, you got a dirty urine. I said, I ain't got no dirty urine. He's like, tell me what you do. I said, man, I ain't do nothing. He's like, we going to test it one more time. If it's dirty, we're going to bring you back in. So I was like, man, listen, do me that favor. Put me back in. Then I'm done with you, B. I ain't got to
Yeah.
deal with you no more. You know what I mean?
No
Cause I
fear.
was on I was under the situation where if they violate you, you do 6 months or a year,
Yeah.
then you done.
Yeah, exactly.
You
They're finished
done.
with it all. Yeah, because
So I told him, man, send me back, champ. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
did 30
So
years. What is
yeah,
another 6 months?
yeah. I said that's nothing.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn. And then you remember the group Boogie Down Production, KRS-One?
Yeah.
Okay. My guy worked with him. He's on the record. KRS always say Robocop is down with us. So Robocop was he was my friend, my brother, my friend, my family. He was a state trooper.
Oh, wow.
So one day we had a show up in White Plains at the county center. It was Soldier Boy. And Keith came and I said, yo, Keith, and it's so crazy. I'm walking and my homegirl that worked with us, Lori, she was like, yo, Anthony, is that your probation? I turned around, I said, oh shit, what are you doing here? So I told Keith, I said, yo, Keith, I said, yo, that's my probation right there. And he said, introduce me to him. So I said, Mr. Markio. He's like, yeah, how you doing? I said, yeah, this is my friend Keith. Keith, this is my probation Markio. I said, he's a state trooper, blah, blah, blah. And he said, when you introduce me to him, B, and he's, walk away. I walked away. They talk. My probation said straight out of his mouth. He said, and Keith told him straight up, he said, listen, that's my brother. I'll do anything for that dude right there. You know what I mean? Anything. He said, if I had to lie to get him out of something, I'd do it for him. That's our relationship. My probation told my man straight out of his mouth, he said, if he wasn't on my caseload, if I could hang out with him, I would hang out with him. He's a good dude.
Yeah, with a good heart.
He said, I don't know how he got caught up in this situation he was in, but he's a good dude. He's a different dude. And it's like just to hear that from a state trooper from the probation, a federal probation, and I'm like, it ain't just him. It's some of the COs. It's some of the COs that I'm gonna get them on the phone where you can have a conversation about, you know, my
Did
battery
forget
dying.
something. Oh,
No,
no.
my battery dying. But
Okay.
if they could sit down and explain to you me, they'd tell you we would never find another inmate, a convict like AB.
Yeah.
Never, never.
Did you ever have anger while you were, your
Yeah,
personality, like now, your personality is so infectious because you say it the way it is. You understand it's a broken system. You got caught up in it. There's no excuses, no blame, nothing from you.
Nah,
I don't
I
see
don't.
anger.
Nah, I'm not angry. I'm happy to be out here. You know what I mean? I'm happy to say I went in and made a difference. And
Yeah.
with us, with the conversation and the billing, we billing, it's about trying to change somebody else's life,
Yeah,
and how we got to change their life, we got to change the system life.
exactly. And you got to start with the young kids who are going to be
Yeah,
the leaders in the system. Because, like you said, you have to be a leader, not a follower. And
yeah,
I sometimes I talk to these COs and I think about it, and they're going into prisons, and you don't want them following the 50, 60-year-old COs. You want them leading a new generation who has
yeah.
more empathy in the
But
system.
that, but that's the system because they train the officers to say everybody's slick.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody, yeah, listen, you in jail. So everybody got game. It ain't no question. That's a part of the game because
Yeah.
that's why they took chances. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when they understand, but at the end of the day, just because you got that power to be over somebody, and it's the same thing with the officers. Is like the police officers. You got good ones, you got bad ones. But when you feel that because you got that badge on,
Yeah.
you over me, and you look at me, I'm not a man no more.
Yeah, exactly. It's that power.
You're not a woman no more. You get where I'm coming from? Because if you didn't have that badge and that same thing, it's like, okay, would you be the same dude, aggressive? No, you won't.
Yeah, you
So
wouldn't.
we got to fix that. In It's a lot of things that we need to fix
Yeah.
in the federal system, the state system,
I would love to
and
get you down here in Connecticut and talk to a lot of these COs. I spoke at the police academy a couple of
yeah,
weeks ago. You would make such a difference talking to these young COs going in
yeah,
because you get
yeah.
so much time. And the thing is, I'm also curious when you came out of prison after all that time,
Hmm.
the world was different.
Yeah. It-
Technology. How did you, and I know you're not the best with technology. Texting. It's FaceTimes. It's wonderful. But how did you maneuver? Like you came home. What was your biggest shock about the change in the world from the time you went in to the time you got home?
you gotta remember, once again, prison is no different than the streets. I had a cell phone in jail.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
had that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's like the phone system is like the system is really built to destroy families.
Yeah, you're right.
And they need to fix that where they charge you so much to call your family, give you a short amount of time. It's like you got your girlfriends, you got your friends, you got your cousins, you got your kids. It's not enough time. So basically, because of a guy out of DC named Rafus Evans went on 60 Minutes for what he did, they punish everybody. You can't punish everybody for one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
the families are innocent. They're collateral damage. And the BOP and the state, the DOCs talk about reunification with families, but how are
Hmm.
you supposed to reunify with your families when you have 300 minutes to speak to them every month?
You can't. You know what I
You
mean?
just
You
can't.
can't. That's
Or if they're doing
basically,
diesel therapy and shipping you all over to every other prison, how do you build a
yeah.
relationship?
You can't. You know what I mean? And they don't care to something happen to one of them.
Yeah.
Then they care. You know what I mean? It's like we personally got to figure out, every inmate, every convict, every CO, every counselor, every whatever, all of them ain't bad. So we got to figure out what's good and what's bad. But when you take from because one person do something, everybody got to suffer.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
it's
exactly
like,
it. They shake down the whole prison. The whole prison's locked up
yeah,
because one person did,
yeah. And if you look at the map of how the system, the world we in is no different. You know what I mean? If
yeah.
if you if basically, let's say this, we still locked up. If
Yeah.
you put a fence around New York City, is separate the women from the man.
Yep.
It's no difference. And that's what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with race, it's
Yeah.
the same thing, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's like we got to learn to say who created color. You know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And I tell any adults in this world and follow you on your page, this go viral. It's like if you don't understand color, race, if you feel that that's what it is, get a bunch of kids,
Oh my God, I was just
little
gonna say that.
kids, and put them in a park. It don't matter what culture you are. Put them in a park, right?
Yeah.
What you're going to get out of color is a bunch of kids don't know no color. Only thing they know is run around that park and have fun, enjoy that day till their mom said, come on, let's go home, take a bath, let's
Yeah.
eat and go to sleep.
I love
That's
that.
how it should
Oh
be
yeah.
with us.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? We
So
got to
then,
get
yeah,
out.
as you're going on and on in life, and you're now being defined, and you're learning about race
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the adults, not.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's the same thing. My granddaughter's 1 today. She's 1 years old today, and
Mm-hmm.
at 1 years old, she's in daycare, loving everybody.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't see
Nah.
sexual orientation, color, religion. She
Nah.
doesn't see that. She just, like you said, has love and fun.
Yeah.
And
They,
it's sad when you get to the older ages and there's this
the
hate.
parents. The
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
parents. It's the parents. You know what I mean? It's adults telling the kid this is what it is, and it's not. It shouldn't be that way. You gotta let people grow up and be themselves. You know what I mean? And that's where I was myself. I didn't judge nobody.
Yeah.
My man, rest in peace. He was a mob boss. Me and him was the best of friends. When he found out I ran into his nephew, this man started crying. This man was like 80 years old, crying
Wow.
because I ran into his nephew and he said, yo, you know a kid named AB. He said, that's my son. I love him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But at the end of the day, it ain't got nothing to do with color. It's just that when you understand you're a human being, because like I tell people, it don't matter how light you are, how brown you are, get a knife and cut yourself and
That's
see
right.
what white blood come out, see what motherfucking yellow blood come out, brown blood, whatever. It'll be red.
That's right. It's all
Everything we
matters of the
human
heart.
being, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to fix that because it's just too much of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, you have the presidents, you have all these people get on national TV and say, how can we stop the violence? How can we stop the killing? How can we stop that? If you want to stop it, you can, because basically what it is, it's about money. People want to feed their family.
Yeah. That's
If they
exactly. It's all
can't
money.
do it, it's about taking care of their family. It's like it's the struggling. It just make people go crazy and do dumb shit.
Yeah. See, these
So
messages, what you're saying is what needs to go viral, because
yeah,
it is true. And it's funny, you learn that diversity, that love, that empathy in prison. People are people.
yeah.
When you're
No,
in
I learned
prison.
it.
Yeah.
No, I learned it from my mother and father, because my mother and father is like, my name is Anthony. I got that name from my godfather. My godfather was Italian. He was a mob boss. That was my. That was
Yeah.
my. Listen,
Oh
it
God, it could
wasn't
have
a.
been one of my uncles. I'm
Yeah,
Italian, so
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
look it, but
yeah,
I'm Italian.
yeah. And then like I knew a lot of people, and people. It's like it don't matter, because at the end of the day, let me say this: somebody in my black area don't want to see me win, but I meet you, you don't mind helping me.
Oh, I want to
You know
lift.
what I mean?
I want to lift everyone up. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's crazy how that can be. You know what I mean? But it's like it's reality
Yeah, it's
when
the
you
same with
understand.
women. It's the same
Yeah,
with women. Women do not like to see other women
women.
succeed. And I
Yeah.
love lifting up other women, especially in the
Hmm.
criminal justice space. It's such a competition, and I don't
Yeah.
understand. I
Yeah.
don't understand it, you know? And the way I see it is, and a good friend of mine explained this to me, and he said to me, you know, you have this white privilege. Don't pretend you don't, because you're going to get in spaces I can't. And if you're
Yeah.
lifting me up, getting in those spaces, we're working together. And
Yeah.
I thought about it hard. And the thing about it is it's sad. It makes me sad. But the fact is, it is the truth. And by lifting up each other, we can get into spaces now that
Mhm.
someone else can't, and be together in unity. And it,
Let me say something on that, right? It is what it is, right? White people help white people.
yeah,
Black people don't want to help black people. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, let me be 100 with you and speak what it is. It's about where they always quote, "Oh, let's support black on black," right? Okay. You telling me you got Jay, you got Puff, you got all these dudes got billions and billions of dollars. None of these dudes help. They just help a line of people. You get where I'm coming from?
yeah,
So it ain't about, this person, that person. It should be help. It don't matter what you are. You
that's right.
understand? But it's hard for us to sit back and say, if I could open the door for you, like, give you a great example. Steve, our man Steve.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I met him when I first came home at BT on 57th Street. Me and Steve been friends ever since.
yeah, that's how we were connected.
So when that happened, Steve started working for Fox 5. I came up there and I was working with JB Smooth,
Yep.
right? And Steve wanted to do an interview on JB, right? And I told Steve this. I said, Steve, do me a favor. I'll make sure it happens for you for JB. Do not go to Rick. Rick Dolphin is a piece of shit. Made that clear to him.
Yep.
He went to Rick anyway. Rick shitted on him.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what I mean?
Yep.
Then Steve felt the way, oh, JB. I said, yo, it's not JB's fault. It's Rick's fault. And I told you it's your fault because I told you I had you, my man.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, to say what it is, Steve is Jewish, Rick is Jewish.
Yeah.
So it don't matter a color thing. It's just that when you deal with some fucked up people, it is what it is.
Yeah. It is what it is. It doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it don't make a difference. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They help who they want to help.
Yeah. It's
You know what
funny.
I
I
mean?
have a lot of people say to me, you know, you have so many friends that have felonies. And I say, you know what? The odd thing is, those people that have felonies, they got me. They
Listen.
are the truest people, the most loyal people.
Mhm.
And I don't care what they did. They're not who they were 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. They're who they are today.
Yeah.
And it's a different mentality, because when you've gone through the system, you're connected with other people who went through the system, and there's a bond.
That's 100% right. But listen, we gotta do a part two because this phone gonna die
Yeah, you're
in
gonna
my
die.
chart.
Okay,
No,
one last statement. What do you have? What is your number one takeaway from AB to the world?
the takeaway is treat your family the way you want to be treated. If you got kids out here, it don't matter you like the baby mother, you don't deal with her, whatever. What she put you through to child support through the court system, that's your kid. That's your kid. Don't never let somebody else stop you for loving your kid. You know what I mean? That's because at the end of the day, you never know who you're gonna need.
Oh, I love it.
And
Yeah.
that same person that you don't want to be around, that might be the same person that helps you. So from
AB,
me
how
to
could
you,
people get in touch with you if they want to? If people want to, or
I,
want to talk
if,
to you?
if you want to talk to me, reach out to my boss right here. You can hit me on Instagram. I'm gonna give you my number, but don't blow me up. You know,
Don't put it on the air. I tell you what, you want to reach out to AB. you email evolutionreentry@gmail.com or criminaljusticecafe@gmail.com, and we will forward it on to
There
agents.
you go. There you
There
go.
you go.
You can hit me on Instagram, but Instagram and all
Yeah.
that be sometimes it be weird people on there. So
Yeah.
holla at my boss lady, and she
Yeah.
got my number. She got the radar on me, and I'm outside.
I do. And I know where you are at every
There you
moment.
go. There you go.
I love talking to you. We definitely have to have a part two. It took us too long to do part one.
There you go. And that's not my fault.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. You forgot the first time.
No,
I
you
messed
forgot
up
the
the
second
second time.
time.
I did. I messed up the second time, but we're all good.
All right.
I
So
love
you
you.
be good. Love you too.
I'll talk to you
Y'all be
soon.
safe. All right.
Bye.